This is a very special episode because today, we're going to talk about how Muslims ruled the world. Not just any time, mind you, but the peak of what is known as the Golden Age of Islam, when Muslim scholars led the world in science and knowledge. So get your cups of tea or coffee ready, grab a cookie or whatever you fancy, and let's start our journey back in time. We'll begin with the rise of the Abbasid Caliphate in the year 750 CE. It was during this period that the Muslim world reached its peak in terms of cultural, economic, and scientific influence. The capital city of Baghdad became one of the largest and most diverse cities in the world. And at the heart of this cosmopolitan city stood a magnificent library, an intellectual center known as the House of Wisdom. The House of Wisdom was founded by Abbasid Caliph Harun al-Rashid, the man credited with starting the Islamic Golden Age. He ruled from 766 to 809 CE and was famous for his patronage of science, arts, and literature. You may have heard of him in the frame of the famous story of 1001 Nights or Arabian Nights. He loved to surround himself with the finest minds, and the House of Wisdom became a place where scholars from all over the known world gathered to share their knowledge, under the patronage of Harun and his successors. Muslim scholars made significant contributions to various fields of knowledge, including medicine, astronomy, mathematics, chemistry, physics, and philosophy. They translated numerous Greek and Indian texts into Arabic, preserving them for future generations and building upon them. Let's talk a bit more about their contributions in each of these fields. In medicine, Muslim physicians made significant advances in understanding the human body and treating diseases. They developed new surgical techniques, invented medical instruments, and wrote influential medical texts. One of the most prominent Muslim physicians was Al-Razi, or Rayḥān in Latin, who lived in the 9th century. He is considered one of the founders of modern pediatrics in his book. The Comprehensive Book of Medicine was a standard medical text in both Muslim and European universities for centuries. In astronomy, Muslim astronomers made precise observations of the stars and planets and developed sophisticated instruments to measure time. They calculated the circumference of the Earth and accurately predicted solar and lunar eclipses. Their most significant contribution was the introduction of the astrolabe, a portable astronomical instrument used for navigation. Muslim mathematicians made groundbreaking discoveries in algebra, geometry, and trigonometry. They developed the Hindu-Arabic numeral system, including the concept of zero, which revolutionized mathematics. One of the most renowned Muslim mathematicians was Al-Khwarizmi, who lived in the 9th century. He is considered the father of algebra in his book, The Compendium of Calculation by Completion and Balancing. He introduced the world to algebraic methods for solving linear and quadratic equations. Muslim philosophers made significant contributions to logic, metaphysics, and natural philosophy. They studied the works of Aristotle and Plato and built upon their ideas. They also made original contributions to theology and ethics. One of the most influential Muslim philosophers was Al-Farabi, who lived in the 9th and 10th centuries. He is considered the father of Islamic philosophy and his work. The Incoherence of the Philosophers was a critique of the philosophical views of his time. These are just some examples of the many contributions Muslim scholars made during this period. It was truly a golden age for the Muslim world, and the impact of this era can still be felt today. But it wasn't just about the knowledge they acquired. The Muslim world became a melting pot of cultures as scholars from all over the world came to Baghdad and other major cities to share their knowledge. This exchange of ideas led to the preservation and transmission of ancient texts and the advancement of science and technology. Speaking of transmission, much of this knowledge was transmitted to Europe through the efforts of Muslim scholars. In the 12th century, Muslim scholars in Toledo, Spain, began translating Greek and Arabic texts into Latin, making them accessible to European scholars. This exchange of knowledge played a significant role in sparking the Renaissance in Europe. So you might ask, if it was such a great time, why did it end? There isn't just one answer to this question, but historians generally agree that several factors contributed to the decline of the Islamic Golden Age. One factor was the political fragmentation of the Muslim world into various independent states. This led to a decline in trade and cultural exchange, as well as a loss of centralized power. Another factor was the Mongol invasions in the 13th century, which devastated many Muslim cities and disrupted trade routes. Additionally, the plague, which originated in Central Asia and spread throughout the Muslim world in the 14th century, had a devastating impact on the population and economy, leading to a decline in scientific and cultural activities. So there you have it, a brief glimpse into the golden age of Islam, when Muslim scholars led the world in science and knowledge. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button and subscribe for more. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in history.